India preparing to host heads of state, their spouses and delegations during the mega G20 summit being held in New Delhi next month? From ensuring seamless meetings to making elaborate security and transport arrangements, including bulletproof luxury cars, offering hotel accommodation, hospitality, special Indian cuisine, souvenirs and gifts, holding handicrafts exhibitions, a complete shopping experience, and essentially offering a taste of incredible India to all the world leaders and VVIP guests who are going to descend on India's capital. There is just so much that goes into organizing a world-class summit. And make no mistake, India is pulling out all the stops. You wonder how? Find out from the man who's in charge of it all. India's G20 Special Secretary, Ambassador Muktesh Pardeshi, spoke exclusively to me earlier today and offered us a sneak peek into what the guests can expect. In short, Ambassador Pardeshi says, for India's External Affairs Ministry and the Prime Minister's office, ensuring the success of this high-stakes and high-profile event and all the work that's going into it is similar to the Chandrayaan-3 landing on the moon. Listen in. Hello and welcome. You're watching News9 Live with me, Neha Khanna, and joining me today is a special guest, somebody who is in the thick of all the G20 action. Joining me now is India's G20 Special Secretary, Ambassador Muktesh Pardeshi. So thank you so much for joining us on News9 Live.
Thank you, Neha, for this invitation.
It's such a busy time for you, therefore I truly appreciate you making the time for us, sir. Now, I think it would be safe to say that this is perhaps the biggest global event that India has ever hosted. We're going to have top world leaders descending here in the national capital. The spotlight of the entire world will be on India. There is no doubt that this is a huge opportunity for India to showcase its multiple strengths. As somebody who is at the heart of it all, how do you perceive this?
No, as you rightly said, this is, I would say, for the Ministry of External Affairs and for us diplomats, this is like a Chandrayaan-3 moment. We are at the pinnacle of our diplomatic initiatives. In the past, we have had some multilateral events held in Delhi, like CHOGM or Non-Aligned Summit, India-Africa Summit. But the G20 is a different ball game. This is one of the most influential forum of global leaders. And since we are having this summit for the first time in India, we are paying special attention that not only we advance the G20 agenda effectively, but we also make G20 as people's presidency. So these are the two things. We advance G20 agenda by taking the agenda forward in through Sherpa and finance track, but we also take diplomatic initiative to the grassroots. We connect this momentous task with people's interests, people's concern, and our national priorities.
There is no doubt that, India's presidency has been a very unique one. It is being described as a people's presidency, and I think that's what makes it truly special. But, I want to ask you this. Again, as somebody who's so deeply involved in organizing this mega event, it's a great opportunity, a moment of pride for all of us. But, ensuring the massive logistics, protocol, seamless arrangements, security for world leaders. I mean, this cannot be easy. It has got to be very, very challenging. I wonder if it's actually been a bit of a nightmare. Have you been having sleepless nights? How are you going about it?
Well, I sleep well. We started well, and we started well in time. Let me inform your viewers that to run this G20 presidency, this secretariat, G20 secretariat, was created through a cabinet decision in February 2022. So a reporting structure was created, an organization was created, some manpower was provided, and a budgetary support was given. But from there, since there was no precedence, we didn't have the organizational experience to organize an event like this. We had many deputationists from here and there. We employed people from the market, and then we created a team. And after building, very effective teams, the vision came from the leader. And you would have seen how our logo was created, how the theme was selected, how the national priorities were selected and crafted very carefully. So the whole role of the Secretariat is to implement the vision of the leadership, and that the vision is unequivocal to find a rightful place for India, to showcase India to the world, and here we are through the Secretariat to spread the message of the leadership.
Certainly. There is no doubt that Prime Minister Modi's vision is being executed to the last detail very effectively by the team that you are a core part of. And, 1.5 years of work has gone into it, and it's quite commendable. Sir, this is a huge diplomatic event, but it's also a great showcase for India's soft power. One of the things that we Indians are best known for is our hospitality. I'm sure that you'd want our special G20 guests to experience incredible India in every way possible. So if I could just ask you this, what kind of hospitality will be extended to the special G20 leaders? What are your special plans for them?
No, in the beginning itself, the guidance from the leadership, we have to showcase India in its all dimension: hospitality, the tourism, as well as progress in the technological sector. So the vision of the Secretariat is to showcase India, which is ancient, but at the same time which is modern, and the India which is going to the space. So when we are curating any meeting, we have taken special care of exposure to the local culture, crafts and cuisine. I say 3 C's. So the culture, cuisine and crafts, there has been special focus on that. At the same time, we showcase and share with the world what India has done through technological transformation. So development in digital inclusion, financial inclusion, and the way even the women folk from the rural hinterland, they are able to make payment through UPI and other digital means. We are showcasing to the world that India today is progressing well and has made advancement in many new sectors, apart from the traditionally being known as a source of great civilizational heritage, symbolizing unity in diversity. So cultural the focus that has been at the in curating the hospitality experience, we have given special focus on promoting regional cultures.
That's interesting. And I really like how you put it, that we are showcasing to the world that this is a country that has an ancient civilizational heritage, and this is also a country that's going into space and going to moon. You mentioned the 3 C's. I can't help but talk about one of those 3 C's, cuisine. I believe that most hotels in Delhi who are going to be hosting the G20 delegations are curating special menus. I'd love to know, what does the government of India have on the menu for the world leaders and heads of state to ensure that they get a true taste of India?
Well, this being the International Year of Millets, very consciously we have been promoting the millet. So millet is, in last 12 months, millet has reached to the, on the dining tables of the middle class. This was forgotten. This was lost somewhere. So thanks to
I can tell you, I eat millets every day.
Yes. So now it has become, it's becoming popular. So I think this will give a boost to production of millets, not only in India, all over the world, because I see the guests coming from outside, and some of the guests are exposed to millets for the first time. Apart from millets, we are also promoting local cuisines. For a long time, India's northern Mughlai cuisine is known, but through G20, we have exposed delegates to different parts of our culinary heritage. So if meetings have taken place in Northeast, people have tasted meals from northeastern area. If meetings have taken place in Kerala, they have, they enjoyed the local delicacy and not something from the northeast. So for the first time, the delegates are, they are overjoyed because they have gone beyond the traditionally known the menu which Indian restaurants have been offering. So I think it's a great opportunity for local cuisines to get promoted.
Certainly, but when they're going to be in Delhi for the G20 summit, are they going to be able to sample food from Rajasthan and from Gujarat and Maharashtra?
Certainly.
Is that the plan?
Certainly, when we plan, when we have a menu plan, either for leaders or ministers or other delegates, or for friends from media, we are going to showcase street foods of India. So we are going to promote street foods of India. We are going to promote millets and different. So when we plan for menu, you will see that there will be diversity. We also promote some of the things which many Western delegates may not have, experienced beforehand.
Yeah, that will be truly memorable. On that note, I am told that some special gifts are being organized for the leaders. I was wondering if you could give us a sneak peek into what the leaders can hope to go back home with from India to remember India by.
Well, in this context, let me tell you three things. One is, during last 1 year, the gifts have been part of our, Indian hospitality.
But now they're going to be heads of state. That's why I'm more interested.
So during last 1 year, we have given gifts to all official guests, all registered delegates, ministers, and senior officials. While picking up gifts, the idea and the vision behind picking up the gifts is to promote one district, one product, ODOP. So we created a catalog of national products, and we have a product list representing all the states and union territories. So wherever meetings have taken place, we have deliberately picked up items prevalent in that particular state or region to promote and also encourage. And also, the artisans get, when they see themselves on social media, they find recognition, and we hope through these modest means we can enhance their business, the prospects also. So this is the one district, one product, the idea behind this. For the leaders, well, the Honorable Prime Minister will pick up. He has been in the G20 for, he's one leader who will be attending 10th G20 summit.
10th.
Yes.
This time as the host.
Yeah, as a host. So, and he has known leaders. So, out of his friendship and, acquaintance, he'll pick up some gifts.
Are you telling me he's going to handpick gifts for the heads of state? Yes. That is fascinating.
Yes. So we, from the Secretariat, we provide a list, a menu, and Honorable Prime Minister will pick up. There are certain ideas which have been shared with the G20 Secretariat.
Are you willing to share those with us? Because our viewers are very curious, I can tell you.
Well, we are awaiting the leader decision, and that's a privilege that rests with the Prime Minister's office. So at some point of time, I'm sure it will be shared, but at this point of time, it's a privileged information. So I do not have that the luxury to share with you. And the third thing which we'll do, during the G20 summit, we are going to create a crafts bazaar next to the International Media Center. We have taken entire hall. We have invited all states and union territories to set up their stalls. There will be some live demo as well of some artwork. So the delegates and media friends, they'll be busy. They may not have enough time to go and shop around. So they will have a shopping experience at the
The venue itself. You know, I'm so glad you brought this up because I was wondering if all the shops and markets in Delhi are going to be shut, where will the delegates and their spouses shop?
We are going to create this exhibition as well as a shopping experience for and at very affordable costs at the same price that we get at the Emporia. Rather, I would say specially curated and the items which the delegates may like to pick up. If they are short of time, they may not have opportunity to go.
So this will be within the venue itself?
Within the venue. In hall number 3, the whole area is being converted into crafts bazaar.
That's wonderful.
Representing all Indian states
All
and
Indian states
Union
and union
territories.
As somebody who loves shopping, I can tell you, I'm pretty sure your guests are going to love this idea. And I mean, when you come to a country as rich as India, you definitely want to take home souvenirs.
And again, their focus would be especially on 2 items. Once again, one district, one product, and then GI products. There are several items, especially known and attached to a particular region. So we are promoting ODOP as well as GI products.
That's wonderful. So plenty to look forward to apart from the official meetings.
So, yes. And this will also occupy media friends and other delegates whenever they get some spare time. They can just go across to the Craft Bazaar.
Sounds fantastic. I would love to squeeze some time out for this. I think a lot of people are also wondering, are many heads of states and their delegations and spouses likely to head to, let's say, Agra to experience the majestic grandeur of the Taj Mahal? Have you been getting a lot of those requests for those arrangements?
Let me share with you. We are curating a special program for the spouses.
Wonderful.
And the spouses will be taken to Pusa Institute, where there'll be sessions on livelihood, women-led development, and of course millet, etc. So that's an experience, more educational experience for them. And then they will get an opportunity to see some art exhibition at Jaipur House. They'll also get an opportunity to savor street food there at the Jaipur House, as well as some shopping experience. They will also visit and pay respects to the father of the nation.
Yes,
Rajghat.
Yes. And are there any requests for people wanting to go to Agra or Rajasthan? Are there those requests too?
I have not come across, but whenever there is some request, I mean, there is a set mechanism. What we have done from the G20 Secretariat, each delegation, we have carved out a liaisoning team of a few officers. So they are in touch with the embassies. If there are special requests, with the help of the protocol, these people will be able to organize. So each leader, each spouse, each delegation, they're dedicated officers attached from the G20 Secretariat as well as the Ministry of External Affairs and from the Delhi Police to look after such requests and also to help in facilitate their movement.
Assist them in any way that they might like.
That's right.
Okay, that's very interesting because, it is almost a regular feature for world leaders coming to India to either visit the Taj Mahal in Agra or to go to Rajasthan. We'll have to wait and see, of course, if they have the time. Let's now shift our focus for a moment to the massive security arrangements that are being put in place. Protecting some of the most protected leaders in the world cannot be easy, including the US president, who's probably the most protected leader in the world. Now, we believe that many of these countries, will bring their own armored vehicles. The US does that. But, of course, India is also making massive preparations. We've been given to understand that the government of India has leased many bullet-resistant luxury vehicles. Somewhere I read at a cost of 18 crore. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? All those elaborate security arrangements, the cars?
That's a part of our, hospitality arrangement. And providing adequate security.
Because it's a huge issue, right?
We have so far, almost hosted 200 meetings, and we are very much, it's gratifying to know that all meetings have gone, they have been incident-free. So going by the reputation of India, we have to make all arrangements go out of the way to ensure fullest security to visiting delegations. So as part of the standard, the protocol norms and hospitality arrangements, we are of course offering to visiting leader bullet resistant, the vehicle. Then it's the ambulances, there will be some, alternative vehicles and vehicles for the rest of the delegation, baggage vans. These are the standard drills in any visit of the leaders. It's nothing out of the place. I mean, this has been done for visiting leaders. Of course, we do not have, on the strength of MEA, so many bullet resistant cars on our portfolio. So we have to lease out some cars for specific event. And that's why you might have read about in the newspaper. Yes, we are leasing certain number of BR cars for limited duration.
I also read that Delhi seems to have run out of luxury cars because the government of India has booked them all.
Because you see what happens, there's so much demand.
Yes.
Demand is from the G20 Secretariat itself.
Okay.
We have a transport management company. And so from our side, we have to give certain number of vehicles to each visiting delegation. And there are at least 40 of them.
Good Lord.
Plus,
has it been a challenge?
Yes.
Let me ask you.
And then, Delhi, in some other places where we had, small places where we had the G20 meeting, there were challenges.
But
here
not in Delhi. About heads of state.
Yes, so no, in Delhi, no, because Delhi is resourceful, it's a big hinterland that here. And many times transport agencies, they have all India network. We have seen some meetings, suppose in Northeast, our transport agencies, they took cars from Delhi.
Okay.
So
Delhi is well equipped.
So these agencies, sometimes in Delhi, if there's a shortfall, they will go to maybe Rajasthan, they will go to Agra, they might go up to even Mumbai or Pune, Bangalore. So they have all India network. So there is a heavy demand from G20 Secretariat. We also need car.
Clearly.
Because we have a large number of people deployed with the delegations.
Yes.
Plus embassies, they need fleet of spare cars to take care of their own delegations. Exactly. So, some big delegations may require, 50, 60, sometimes 100 cars also.
One delegation may require 100 cars.
Yes. Could be more also.
Good
Could
Lord.
be more. I mean, depending on the size of the delegation, and you can imagine well, some delegations are quite big.
Yes.
So the embassies, they do not have so many cars.
So the government has to then provide.
No, they will hire out from them. We don't. We provide fixed number of vehicles, and our norm is fixed.
Okay.
Each delegation, big or small, depending on the size of delegation, how many people are coming, how many ministers are there, how big is it, we'll give a standard component from our side.
The rest
That's
has
a
to be
part of
managed by
our,
the embassy.
yes.
I
But
see.
in case embassy requires more cars to support the movement of their delegation, then they have to hire out.
Okay.
And you can imagine there's so many high-level officials and ministers will be there apart from leaders in the town. That's why there is a huge demand for
Huge demand, and apparently cars completely running out, which is understandable. I'm pretty sure Delhi is going to turn into a fortress, and understandably so. The summit is on the 9th and the 10th of September. President Biden arrives on the 7th, and I believe most of the other arrivals are going to happen on the 8th. Correct me if I'm wrong, the 8th, which was Friday, has been declared a public holiday. But how exactly do you, plan to manage traffic in Delhi on those 3 days? What are the things that Delhiites need to keep in mind? Stay home? Best thing to do?
No, very careful consideration has been given that while we offer the best hospitality and comfort to visiting delegations, our citizens are also not inconvenienced. So you will see the decision of the holiday is the best decision. See, if offices are running, if shops are working, then many times, particularly on 8th, when you have 40 delegations arriving, every half an hour or 1 hour, the traffic will be controlled to make way for the visiting delegation. So considering all these factors and also inputs from the Delhi, the police, rather than putting citizens to a great inconvenience, the government thought that it will be better that activities in New Delhi area, I mean central Delhi, is restricted that day. So 8th is basically arrival. So between airport to different hotels.
Yes.
There'll be,
traffic restrictions.
Traffic restriction. Whenever the movement takes place from, say, from the airport to Hotel Imperial in Connaught Place, the whole route, will be sanitized, and for some time until the leader has reached the hotel, it will be controlled by the Delhi police. That's why the government is encouraging people. This is a good time to go out or stay home, work from home.
A lot of people have taken this opportunity to go on a long weekend holidays.
Yes, so I think my personal suggestion, and I'll encourage people also to take some time off during the long weekend.
Yeah, spend time with family and friends,
Yes.
maybe go out of Delhi.
Yes.
That is a good idea. I totally agree. If only journalists had that luxury. No, but we don't. On a more serious note, sir, could you give us a sense of this kind of security deployment that will be in place? Because, of course, we know that, the US president will come with his own secret service, and then many other delegations will have their own security. But Delhi, at the end of the day, is responsible for the security of all these leaders. Give us a sense of the kind of security deployment that's being made.
Well, almost for a year, Delhi police and all related the security agencies have made a foolproof security and contingency plan. And the security also involves all kinds of facilitation, traffic management, medical evacuation. So in all hotels, all venues, we have medical centers being established. So in convention center, we'll have 3 medical setups in the main the venue, in the media center, in the official delegation, in Rajghat, in all hotels will have medical facilities. So any leader, any visiting delegation has any problem, that support is also provided by us. While as I said, while giving security cover to visiting delegation, we do not want to inconvenience our own people, and we expect, and we as the other day the Prime Minister has personally reached out to people that this is a great opportunity to showcase India. There will be some inconvenience, but please bear with us.
Yes.
Because this is part of the overall national the endeavor. So security, all kinds of contingency plan is in place and executed by Delhi Police. Delhi Police is one of the best metropolitan polices in the world. So we are working very closely with them.
Do we have a sense of the number of security personnel who might be deployed?
I think those kind of logistical planning is done by the Delhi Police, and it's a dynamic. But right. What I read and in the meetings that we have quick response teams created at different locations, including hotels, venues, and the places which are likely to be visited by leaders and also the spouses. Yeah. So this is a part of the security plan.
Right. Now, I am told that not a single hotel room is available in Delhi during those 3 days. All the 5-star hotels are fully booked. Give us some idea about the accommodation that's being provided to the G20 guests.
Well, we are expecting 8,000 to 10,000 people descending in Delhi during those days. So what happens, apart from the leaders, official delegations, we are expecting a large contingent of media people as well. So 2,000 to 3,000 people come not only from abroad, but also from within India. There are so many the media representatives representing regional media. They would like to be in Delhi during those days and cover for their agencies. Then you have air crew, you have medical contingent, you have the security component. So all require a room. So 10,000 rooms are required at different levels. For high-level delegations, we had shortlisted most prominent hotels. But while shortlisting prominent hotels, careful consideration was given to access, distance from the venue, distance from the airport, and also clearances from the security, the perspective. So I believe there are more than 20 hotels which have been taken by visiting leaders, and there will be several other hotels which will be occupied by visiting media people and visiting air crew as well.
In the NCR area.
Yes, in the NCR. So, and everybody is looking for competitive tariff, but unfortunately, because of the supply and demand situation,
the tariffs must be through the roof, I'm guessing.
I understand. So, well, this is also beginning of the high season for tourism. Beginning September, October, the tourists start visiting different places. So that's why the prices may be on a little higher side. And this happens. This is not only this is not India specific.
It happens everywhere.
Everywhere. I mean,
it is demand driven.
The last year in Bali, the hotel tariffs were very high during the currency of the G20 summit.
Yeah, it's understandable.
But one thing is there's a great business prospects in adding more rooms all over India. During last 1 year, I have seen there is a great business potential in adding more hotels in not only Delhi. There are several places where we badly need more hotel rooms.
Yes, so I think this has been a great opportunity for hotels to maybe add more rooms. Would you want to tell us a little bit about the state-of-the-art convention complex that's been recently inaugurated at Pragati Maidan, the venue of the G20 summit?
Well, first of all, this is a Pragati Maidan has been redeveloped under a master plan, principally to take care of the G20 summits and also upcoming MICE requirements. So I think Bharat Mandapam and the upcoming convention center in Dwarka will result into making Delhi an important MICE destination. What Bharat Mandapam offers, apart from the big convention center, there are several halls where you can have exhibitions. The Bharat Mandapam, the main international convention center, apart from the summit hall and adjoining leaders lounge, had facilities like plenary hall. There is a multi-purpose hall. There are 2 auditoriums where you can have, I think, 800, 600 people seated. And then the several bilateral rooms. So we have almost 20 bilateral rooms where leaders can meet each other. Then in adjoining hall number 14, we are creating delegate lounges. So all visiting delegations, each country will have a hall for themselves, a smaller hall, office space, to set, strategize, maybe invite a media friend, have a cup of tea and chit chat, and then different halls we are taking them to create media center, crafts, bazaar, etc. So this place is beautifully done, and I hope in the coming days this will become a great center of activities in New Delhi area.
We certainly hope so, and we're looking forward to being there. You mentioned bilaterals. Can you throw any light on what kind of bilaterals we're likely to see, especially as far as the Indian Prime Minister is concerned?
Well, I don't have the access to what. At this point of time, we have received several requests, which is very customary. I mean, all leaders who are coming to India, they would like to seek a few minutes from the host, the leader, and pay courtesy and then discuss bilateral issues. So it all depends. But, the host leader is also preoccupied with, the summary part. So depending on how much time the leader gets for bilateral meetings, I'm sure MEA will take a call how many bilateral meetings can be fitted. Then the other meetings are between the visiting delegations. There our role is to facilitate. We provide rooms. and slot with all the amenities and facilities for leaders to meet. But it's between the two visiting delegations. Our role is a facilitator and provider of space and a facility, that's all.
Okay, I understand. You know, sir, you're also a seasoned diplomat. You've been India's ambassador to Mexico, High Commissioner to New Zealand. So I'll ask you this. This is a major global event that India is hosting. What do you think it means for India's global stature, which has already risen in recent years?
I think for me, there'll be two, at a personal level, two big takeaways when the presidency is done and we take lessons from there. One is I have seen during last 1 year, the Prime Minister is, the sense by involving youth and students and, people at the grassroots, there is a sense of, aspiration to lead, that the time of India has arrived. We have to play a greater role on the international stage. That has become a kind of national aspiration. So this is a sense I get throughout India. And the secondly, that is at a more diplomatic level. India is playing, bridge maker between different camps. But what is important is we have taken upon ourselves to raise the voice of the global South. That is important. So connecting with the global South, raising its concerns and interests to a group which was not otherwise, linked to the global South, that will be important contribution of India in making of a new G20 presidency.
Especially given that African Union is now likely to get full membership. That is entirely India's initiative and being lauded by the world. So, the Prime Minister's vision has primarily comprised two components. Correct me if I'm wrong. One is this should be taken to the people. It should be a people's presidency. And two, as you said, the focus has to be on the global South. So, apart from everything that's happened up until now, do you believe the G20 summit is also going to see a full realization of this vision of the Prime Minister?
Yes, we have seen the summit, the culmination of all our Jan Bhagidari events. Yes. The very fact that we had our meetings spread all over India, and I must underline, no country has ever done this. By taking a diplomatic event to each state and union territory, that has been the biggest national endeavor. Yeah. So that itself, traveling through Diu or Dimapur or Ladakh or Lakshadweep, I have seen that people are thankful to the leadership, central leadership, that small town is included in the making of India's global aspiration. So that sense I got while traveling. So. And that has made our G20 presidency
so
people's
yes. People's presidency. I agree with you. Let me ask you this. As somebody who's so deeply involved and invested in the success of this grand event, what would you want India's G20 legacy to be like?
Well, the legacy of the G20 presidency, one of course is, we get an opportunity to shape a global narrative about India. And this is a golden opportunity and has come at a time where, we have just celebrated 75 years of our independence, and we are looking forward to become a developed nation in next 25 years. So getting connected to the world and showcasing our talents and our aspiration to become global player, I think this will all be remembered as a G20's legacy for some time.
Most certainly. Last couple of questions, sir, because I know you're very busy. President Putin has conveyed to Prime Minister Modi that he is unable to personally attend this summit. Do we have a confirmation of whether the Chinese President Xi Jinping will be here? Because a lot of people are curious.
Well, the final input rests with the protocol unit of Ministry of External Affairs. But what I can say that we are expecting leaders from all the countries, And so in that spirit, we also expect the leader from China to attend.
Okay, I think that's a good enough hint for me. Okay, and you know, there's something that's happened today. China has come out with a new map, which, again, very provocatively for India, includes Arunachal Pradesh and Aksai Chin as part of Chinese territory. Obviously, this is something that has been objected to by India in the past, and this is happening again on the eve of the G20 summit when we're expecting the Chinese president to be in New Delhi. How is the government likely to react to this?
Well, I would have loved to respond to this, but you know, this is in the G20 Secretariat, we are not dealing with such bilateral issues. This falls within the remit of the spokesperson's office, and I'm sure you might reach out to him for any update or any response in the matter. I'm not personally engaged in dealing with the bilateral matter, so I may not be able to respond immediately on this topic.
I respect that, sir. I took my chances. Last question. The summit is, of course, the culmination of everything we've done in the last 1 year, but the journey continues until November or December.
That's right, up to 30th November. See,
okay.
The summit is the culmination of the G20 meeting, etc. Yes. But our presidency is up to 30th November, yes. And there are some meetings will continue to be done after the summit. Mm-hmm. There are 3-4 finance track meetings mm-hmm. happening after the summit, and one important event which will happen in middle of October relates to parliaments of G20. It's called P20, okay. Parliamentary Group 20. Mm-hmm. And we expect speakers and presiding officers of G20 members in invitee countries to come to India. Mm-hmm. Most likely the event and the meeting is likely to take place in the newly built the parliament. And we'll be taking advantage of the P20 to promote the narrative that Bharat, India, has been the mother of democracy. Incidentally, during the summit also, mm-hmm. we are going to create an exhibition mm-hmm. on India, mother of democracy. So that connects very well with the theme of P20.
Yes, and this is very interesting information for our viewers, you know, that we can also look forward to P20 once the summit is over. On that note, Ambassador, thank you so much for making the time for our viewers to share your perspective and, you know, taking such wide-ranging questions on what we can expect at this very high-profile event that I can tell you all of India is looking forward to and very excited about. More power to you, sir. And here's wishing you all the best for a very successful event.
Thank you. Thank you, Neha. It has been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you so much, sir.